Yo, what up, Bodega Podcast? You already know who it is. It's one half of the sexiest Puerto Rican studs on this planet, Ortiz, baby. And shout out to all the Bodega Podcast listeners. Ow! So, Mr. Ortiz.
This is Agatha Carter, and you're watching the Urban Wrestling Network.
What's really hood, ladies and gentlemen? It's the OG Boricua Dandada. It's your man, Chef. Y'all already know who it is. If you look at the graphic, we're doing a free giveaway for AEW's Full Gear. The way to get that is you're going to subscribe, like, share. Also, I'm kind of giving people that cheat sheet real quick. Leave a comment in our videos. That way, I see somebody who writes something. If you say something funny or if you say something interesting, it's a simple way for me to say, oh, this is going to be the person that we pick to watch Full Gear for free. We'll send you your code and everything else for you to watch this. And that's what we're going to do here. So remember, those are the rules. Subscribe, like, share if you want to watch AEW Full Gear for free. And I'm out of here.
What's really good, Nation? It is your boy, Crooked Smile, back at it with another great podcast. I am here with Hannibal Wolf. How you doing, Hannibal?
I'm good, my friend. How y'all doing today? I am the Beast of Heel Team 6, Hannibal Wolf, the alpha of professional wrestling. How y'all fellas doing today? We got a new person with us today for our new prediction show. Introduce yourself to the world, my friend.
I'm the guy formerly known as Butcher on a podcast, which I'm not mentioning. Not pushing it. I'm the guy they used to call the best heel in the business. I am the new host of Maximum Wrestling World Order podcast.
Yes, sir. And we do now have a great partnership with you guys, and we are excited to have you on the podcast with us to do this prediction show. AEW, we don't really mess with much anymore, but we are going to try and give it another shot and hope we can push this this time. So we're trying to...
you shouldn't be messing with AEW. AEW's become like the new Mark's product. It's just like
exactly.
super hostile.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Give it 2 more years, nobody will know what it is if it continues the way it is. So there'll be a niche round. It's going to become just like Ring of Honor, just like all that. And
that's what
TNA
I say. With all the ups comes all the downs.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
So we're going to go ahead and jump into it. We got AEW's Full Gear buy-in show. So that's obviously their pre-show that they run in with before they have you buy the main show. And for the buy-in, we have Big Swole versus Nyla Rose.
Well, I'm going to touch on this a little earlier. I'll be the first one to touch about this. Basically, Nyla Rose has been missing in action. She's been MIA. I haven't seen her on anything, maybe with the occasional squash match or two, but I haven't seen her do anything. She came into AEW with a lot of hype. People liked her. She was this big monster. It was like, okay, cool, whatever. And then she started to wrestle, and then people realized, whoa, she's a little dangerous. And then they gave her the world title. She had a pretty good match with Riho. She beat Riho, and then she kind of just lost the belt, and she has been doing nothing since. They put her with Vicky Guerrero. Nothing. I haven't seen nothing come from it. Big Swolesman seems like she's getting the push with as the next challenger possibly to Sheeta's title. She got that whole thing, but my only issue with Big Swole is that match with Britt Baker. Why did it have to happen? Why did they need to do that? They could have just held it off and then had a traditional wrestling match. I'll let our friend across the pond. What do you think about this pre-show buy-in match?
Yeah. I think straight away I've always got like a negative aspect to pre-show matches. To me, if you ain't good enough to make the main card, you shouldn't be on the card. You know? But I gotta say, I mean, Nyla Rose came with that much hype. But her burial has been, I would say, at the fault of AEW fan base themselves. You know? Arguably, we all know the Nyla situation, you know, a transgender, all that sort of stuff. but the old fan base don't seem to like it. It's just like automatically, oh, you know what I mean? Why should a man be carrying a woman's title? It worked for Eric Young. You know, it worked for Eric Young.
Yeah, it did.
Santino Marella
Yeah, he
didn't
is
have a
the one-
problem putting on women's clothes.
Oh
You
no,
know?
definitely.
Listen, I mean,
Yeah.
I like Swole. I like Swole. My issue with Swole is if Swole doesn't go over against Nyla, it's done.
Yeah, I definitely
It's
agree with
done.
you. I definitely agree. Big Swole's been on a decent push right now. They've been showcasing her a lot more than they used to. They're even giving her like a BTE segment with the Big Swole announcement. They've been putting her on AEW Dark. They've been actually trying to push on the main Dynamite show now. So you know she is getting that push. Nyla Rose has been gone, like Hannibal said, for a good couple weeks, if not a month or two now. After she sided with Vicky Guerrero, they showed her a little bit. Vicky had mentioned that they wanted to go to Dynamite on the Dark show, and we've yet to see Nyla Rose since then. But nobody's gotten behind Nyla Rose because obviously as of her start, she's injured multiple people. She's injured people such as Britt Baker, Statlander, and a few others. So it's kind of like you're kind of like an insurance policy per se. You kind of turn into the Nia Jax of AEW.
I wouldn't go as far as to say that she injured Statlander. Statlander tore her ACL, so that just happens. You could walk a certain way and you can hear your ACL pop. So I wouldn't blame that on Statlander. Professional, you know. I'll admit I can get a little snug sometimes with my strikes, but with her, you're on national TV. You want to clean that up. You don't want to have the same issue every time you're on TV with somebody. And
do you think her problem? Do you think her problem may be the fact that because she's built like this big, you know, machine? That I mean, when you look at the women in that division, they're not like, you know, when you look at WWE's women, they don't look anywhere near WWE's size.
No.
And Nyla really, I mean, I don't want to get into the thing of transgender and that, but she is what she is. And her size and genetics are that of the opposite sex, you know?
Yes.
So, I mean, when she's picking people up and throwing people around, she ain't throwing them around like your average. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's a double-edged sword, really, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
You go ahead.
Well, that is true because, like, you know, she's used to hitting a guy a certain way, and she is, in a sense, the whole, you know, if she hits a girl that way, it's going to have a lot more force. It's going to hurt a lot more. And someone's going to say, like, man, that hurt, you know? And when it shouldn't, and she should I think, just pull back just a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, she could still be big and throw people around, but just pull back a little bit when you're working with a smaller girl, so you don't hurt her, you know, because you just dominate her. So next match, what's the first match?
Before we bury Nyla Rose too much on this show, we're gonna go ahead and jump into the main card show, and then I started it out because we don't have the full on like lineup and everything else like that, because obviously you still have one more Dynamite before the main show. Just want to throw that out there before everyone's like, oh no, you're wrong. I started it off with the World Championship Tournament Finals. I'm saying Kenny Omega is going to automatically jump into the spot because, as we know, Rey Fenix did get injured on last week's Dynamite versus Pentagon. So it's going to be Kenny Omega versus either Hangman Page or Wardlow.
I'll let you go first.
I don't think AEW have done a good job of hiding any of this sort of stuff. They've fallen into the WWE thing, full stop. I think, if I'm honest, I think the whole booking of this has been just a bit chaotic in terms of, you know, we're going to put the best guys in, but we're going to mix them up with guys that are on, you know, dark. which for me didn't really sell the tournament anyway. But I do agree with you. I think Omega is walking his way. He's the only guy. I mean, it's like the rivalry was kicking off between him and Hangman, and then it just stalled and they stopped. But this is going to be like the icing on the cake,
Exactly.
But I don't like the fact that another guy is going to suffer because of it. And I mean, and that's the guy that needs the breakaway from Wardlow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why should he wait till his turn?
That's true.
What about your thoughts, Hannibal?
I mean, like I was telling him I was telling Crooked earlier. I was like saying that I got a feeling tonight on Dynamite there's going to be some shenanigans where it'll either be the shenanigans or it'll be the prediction that we're all saying where it's going to be Hangman versus Kenny Omega in the finals. But the shenanigans part would be is if Omega costs Hangman his match with Wardlow, and then later on, if it's Omega versus Wardlow, Hangman costs Kenny the match against Wardlow.
Could you imagine, right, the look on MJF's face if Wardlow goes all the way? I mean, that for me would create a great rivalry in itself.
Yeah, no, and I was telling Hannibal earlier is I think it's going to go in the opposite direction. I think that MJF is actually going to screw Wardlow out of the world title picture here tonight and make himself join forces with the Inner Circle for sure. And that's going to lead it to where I will talk about this later, where someone else is going to be removed from the Inner Circle.
Yeah. I mean, it's just too much to think. Like, my pick for it was Penta, but then when Penta lost to Phoenix, I was like, all right, whatever.
Exactly.
They don't want to push Pentagon. But then,
Yeah.
but then when Pentagon replaced him, I was thinking maybe there'll be some shenanigans. Maybe Omega earlier in the night will say something to Hangman, and Hangman will be out there to cost Omega the match against Pentagon. And then Pentagon will go to the finals, and then we'll eventually have it to where that we could have a story where Penta finally breaks away and becomes that single star that we all know he can be.
We all know.
And break away, having to team with Phoenix and all that other stuff.
I want to see
Kingston
breaking arms back. I want to see him breaking some arms.
That'd be cool if like Kingston brings that out in him again. It's like, hey, start breaking people's arms. What? It's like, yes.
First
he has a
arm
hardcore
breaks
match.
Kingston's.
So I'm guessing we're all going with Hangman Page onto the finals.
Kenny Omega. Yeah.
All right. So out of that, who do you think, Kenny Omega or Adam Page?
Omega.
I gotta go Omega. It's gotta be Omega.
It's a three-way tie for Omega.
I love Hangman. I think Hangman. I believe Hangman should have been the first AEW World Champion.
I mean, the fact that they've just announced the AAA title to be defended as well by Kenny Omega would say to me he walks into Mania as the AEW and the AAA. I just think that would probably add more star power to AEW's gold.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely, and it shows a partnership and everything else like that. You got your world champion going in on your AAA show or into their AAA show and everything else like that. It just great partnership in my eyes.
I mean, I had this kind of epiphany the other night, and I thought he wins the AEW. He still has the Mexican, and then he shows up at Wrestle Kingdom when Ibushi is lifting that title for the first time. And they're face to face, and I thought,
you mean
wow,
both titles?
That is that, and then that is the New Japan and AEW partnership.
That'd be Jaws would drop that night. That's for sure.
Mark out.
Or if you want another thing for that, for a draw drop, because who did Kenny Omega lose the title to when he was in New Japan? Who did he drop the belt to? And who did not do too well in the G1 this year? And then there's rumors circulating he could be the guy that comes over for the New Japan partnership at AEW. Tanahashi. Imagine if Kenny Omega, through all this, wins the belt, wins the AEW belt. He's got both of them belts. He's out there, and then Tanahashi's music hits. That place would go nuts because it's the guy that. I mean, I get the whole Bushi thing. Dude, Hiroshi Tanahashi, yeah, he's still around. He just got a bad bicep, and he's older. He's 40. He's 43 now. He's still got it at 43. But that's the rumor going around. Yeah, and that's the rumor though that's going around that he may be that partnership, that supposed partnership. He may be that one guy that they send over, and what a guy to send over. That would be probably one of the better guys to send over. Yeah. He's the New Japan guy. He was the guy for 10 years, and he could be, coming over to AEW. He wouldn't have to work as hard. He could be the guy to help with that. But
put him so much on a part-time deal with regards to helping with the booking side, the crossover. Yeah, especially with their new, the brand in the States. They're getting ready to actually pull the trigger on that. So yeah, it makes sense, wouldn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try and jump off New Japan real quick, since New Japan real quick. We want to throw it back into the pay-per-view. Yeah, exactly. Yes. We're going to throw it into the AEW TNT Championship, where we have Darby Allin versus Cody, number 3.
Is this the third match between them?
I believe it is the third. It's either the third or fourth.
Wow.
Wow.
I got a feeling Cody's either going to retain or Allen's going to go over, and it's going to be like, hey, Cody doing it to give it to... given the title, because they kind of just, it's weird because they were with Cody, because he came back and they did the whole thing with the Dark Order, and then now the Dark Order is irrelevant and he's facing Darby Allin. Are we going to see Brody Lee show up in this? Maybe not. I don't know.
Cody don't need that. Cody doesn't need the title. You know what I mean? It's kind of like Cody's obviously got that business sense about him, and he's got a big part to play in AEW's future, but he's playing a little bit too much of a part for me on terms of TV and hogging the limelight. Darby Allin's got to go over. He has to, and and this continues the rivalry between Cody and Brody Lee.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I got a feeling he's going to show up because we haven't seen anything from the Dark Order since they lost the belt.
No.
There hasn't. I want my rematch. Or anything like that. I mean, they had the dog collar match, but that was for the belt, correct?
Yes.
Was that their blow-off match? Isn't the heel supposed to get his revenge? So.
I feel Darby will go over in this one to further his issues with the Team Taz with Ricky Starks and Brian Cage and stuff like that. So that way, if anything, it can lead it to where they start showcasing Ricky Starks more and possibly even putting the title on Ricky Starks. But I do agree with the thing with Cody and Brody Lee, that those two are going to have to lash out at each other. But I don't think they need the title, or they don't need the title, actually, because they're two big names that everybody knows. Everybody knows what they can do, and they don't have to do it for a title at every time. So I feel it could definitely be going Darby's way. Finally, I've been saying this since the inception, that Darby Allin should have that TNT title.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go ahead and jump into the next match. Yep, and next match will be AEW Tag Team Championship. The tag team title will be FTR versus the Young Bucks.
I'll take first crack at this, and I'll say this at once. If this was 2 years ago, I would have been more hyped for it. Or maybe even a year ago, I would have been hyped for the Bucks and the FTR. Now it just seems like, meh. I like FTR. I think they've done great. They're the best tag team in AEW. They actually know how to tag team wrestle. They're not doing crazy stuff. They're doing psychology well. As a tag team wrestling, and they just look so smooth together. But them versus the Bucks, I don't think the match is going to live up to the expectations, because I think there's going to be a contrast of styles. The Bucks are going to want to do their thing, and FTR is going to want to do their thing. And unless you meet in the middle, it's just going to be bam. It's going to be like that. I'm not saying it won't be a good match, but it's just contrasted styles. And will the Bucks beat them? No. I think FTR should have a nice long tag reign, and then eventually the Bucks get them or somebody gets them. That's worth taking the belt off. What do you think?
Hate the Bucks. I really do. I really do.
You're getting a shotgun.
Oh my God! Shock the world, shock the system. No, do you know what? Right, I got to be honest. Following them obviously from another promotion all the way through to the States, but originally their career started in TNA, and I never rated them in TNA. I thought they excuse the expression, I'll just say it in a British way. I thought they were a pair of gobshites. The attitude stunk, and I just look at them still in the same way, and I just think they're all about the spotlight and how good they are. But I mean, did they not pay attention to like the 80s? Because when I look at FTR, I just see brainbusters. Them guys are gold. They didn't deserve the treatment they got from Stamford, Connecticut. And let's just hope. I mean, I love them with Tully Blanchard. What I don't like, though, I'll be honest, with FTR, is them using Tully as a bit of a, holding the legs down in the ring to get the pins. FTR are more than capable, but I get it. I get what they're doing. Building that heel, ultimate heel tag team. They have to go over, but I think it's time for the Elite to shine, and I think the trigger's going to be pulled. Omega goes over, Bucks go over, they walk out with all the gold, and
I'm going with the Bucks on this one since you guys want to run with FTR. I originally picked FTR, but since you guys want to choose FTR, I'm going to switch my pick and go with the Young Bucks, and they're going to do it in dramatic fashion too.
You're the guy that we're going to be at a tag. Look at me and say, "Hey, let's do the Meltzer driver." I'm going to be like, "No, why?" No. You're going to tell me to do the flip, and I'm like, "Nah." I'm like, no.
But I feel
I've never been a fan of the Bucks. I mean, I like their matches that they had, with LAX. That was a good match. The ladders match they had. They can do well when they're not having to do a traditional tag team match. When they don't have to do traditional tags, they're great. They can do all their stuff and it looks great. But then, like, when they have to do traditional tags, it's just like, it's just like, come on.
Can I ask you two guys a question? What's your opinion on the ranking system? What is your opinion?
I like the ranking system, but I don't think it's overall the right way. I feel like there should be some other people different rankings than what they actually are.
I mean, I look at Santana and Ortiz, and I'm like, how are these guys not? You know what I mean? Getting major spots on the pay-per-views.
Exactly.
I'm like, I don't understand it, because going into AEW, they were regarded as the best tag team in the world.
Yes.
Coming off some great matches in Impact Wrestling, and you guys know I wasn't a big Impact man, but I tell you what, I've been watching Impact solid for the past 3 months, and it's creeping back up.
It's coming back, yes.
It's
hit its low, and it's definitely starting to climb that mountain and make its way back up. So it's definitely a bright start.
The only way thing is up. When you hit your lowest point, the only way thing is up. So I like the ranking system. I think it's cool because it hurts. I think it hurts more for underneath guys, like guys who aren't really like they're You watch Dark. I know some of you watch Dark, and you see some of those guys that have been there a while, and they're 0-15. They're like 0-14 and they're 0 in this. And then like all of a sudden they're getting a title match because they're 0-14 or whatever. And it's like, what? Doesn't make any sense. That's when the ranking system, like, kind of just, for me, I just go, why? Why do you need a ranking system?
I seen a screenshot of Brandon Cutler getting his first win. And I was like, wow. you've got a show like Dynamite, and I watch Dynamite sometimes, and I watch Dark, and I think I would rather watch Dark than watch Dynamite, because at least I'm seeing an attempt at, great wrestling matches. I'm seeing, young, people that have only just come off the indies and not been showcased get showcased correctly. And then I'm watching a bit, a scene with Chris Jericho, who AEW fans, idolize. I've grown up idolizing him. But he's doing Me and My Shadow with MJF having a freaking steak. And I'm like, how can you sit there and slam another promotion when you're basically doing what Chris Jericho's been doing for years?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I don't get it. But
so we'll go ahead and
back to
the next match. We'll go to the next match, and I put down the Elite Deletion match, where it's going to be Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara. We're going to give Hannibal the first. What he was talking about earlier definitely made sense.
So I don't really care for this feud. This feud should have ended. It should have never continued the way after what happened in that last match. I think they should have just ended it. Screw it. Don't go near it, because Matt Hardy was visibly messed up, even though he says, "Oh, I wasn't." You couldn't stand up. You were falling. You look like a drunk guy. You look like you've had a little too much to drink, and you're coming out of the club, and it's 12 o'clock, and it's ready. That's how bad it looked. And as a performer, you don't want to see that. And that was negligence once again by the AEW doctor. And then, like I told him, I don't think. Yeah, I think like Crooked said, I don't think this is going to be a very traditional match. It's going to be like the Ultimate Deletion match. It's going to be a cinematic match where they're going to just show it. Hey, Hardy Compound, or hey, this. And we're going to see the wackiness of Matt Hardy. I'm pretty sure we're going to see the different, the woken Matt Hardy, the broken Matt Hardy, V1 Matt, all the different Matt Hardy show up against Sammy Guevara, and have it to where, in the end, I think Matt Hardy's going to essentially kill off all his old gimmicks and then finally just be Matt Hardy, because that's what he's trying to be now, is Matt Hardy. And it'll end up him pinning Guevara and Matt Hardy winning the feud, hopefully. And Crooked, I'm going to hand it off to the new guy, and I'll let him give his opinion. Then you can give what you were telling me earlier about the whole with Sammy Guevara and the Inner Circle. So what do you think?
I mean, I think Matt Hardy really, for me, should just step away now from the ring. Maybe we're backstage. I think he's got a great wrestling mind. But like you just said, that bump he took was, over the years we've seen concussions. Way in a million years he'd have been covered to wrestle anywhere else. His head bounced off concrete. It was there to see. I mean, Guevara's got to go over. He has to. I mean, Sammy Guevara, for me, takes a hell of a lot of... he's almost kind of like... I mean, he's not perfect. I mean... He's made his own. He's done a fair few botches himself. But when it comes down to the crunch, it takes two men to make a move work. If one person's sloppy, then the other person's going to look sloppier. I just think I really don't want. I don't want to see Sammy Guevara kicked. I really don't. I really don't want to see him kicked. He's got to go over.
I'm going with Matt Hardy on this one, unfortunately, because it's going to lead into what I was saying earlier about the whole thing with Wardlow. Is Matt Hardy will win, and it'll lead it to where they have no choice but to kick Sammy Guevara out of the Inner Circle, because he's the only person who can't produce in the Inner Circle, and that's going to open up the slot for MJF to, weasel his way in and get his opportunity to be in with the Inner Circle, and it'll probably lead with a feud versus Sammy Guevara and MJF, and I think that feud could steal spotlight for sure.
Do you
With
think
both of
they
them
could
being
be
so
pushing?
young.
Do you think they could be pushing for the feud with Wardlow versus Hager?
They could be. They definitely could be.
That's a thing for it, because then in a sense, Guevara would be kicked out. So would Wardlow if anything happens with that, and then Wardlow will be like, "Hey, I want you, MJF," but then Jericho will say, "Hey, I got Hager. Hager, go get him."
Yeah.
Poor Jake Hager.
I do think it's time, though. I mean, Wardlow, you can slowly see he's losing that, that assassin heel. You know what I mean? People are going to mark out when that guy turns.
Oh yeah, definitely. When Wardlow turns face and he actually shows more than what he can actually do, or does more than what he's actually been doing, I think the crowd will get behind him for sure.
He's got the look, isn't he? I mean,
He's got the look already. Yes, definitely. He's got the look, and so I know for sure. I've seen some of his indie stuff since actually seeing him do his first matches and stuff like that. This guy can actually do some hell of a work in a ring.
That F10 is unreal. That is unreal.
That's a KO at the end of the night.
Yeah. It needs to be a protected finish, and it's one of those that's where it's just you hit it, you don't kick out, you're done.
Well, they're not gonna. Protected finish. I'm just wondering, has Marco Stunt had that done to him yet, or have they gone to Wardlow going no, no?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he probably called for it not to happen.
It had turned into an F20. He just
exactly.
take off.
Yeah. And then, so final match. We actually have two matches. One, we can make a quick one for this one. For the women's, we don't know who Shida's opponent is yet. Hirooka Shida is supposed to defend. I would just say, let's just give a quick who would you want to see Shida face? Just in a match.
I think going off what we've seen. I'm kind of hoping it's not, because I kind of hope she shows up in NXT. But I think it's going to be Thunder Rosa.
Again? Have the blow-off match with the two?
I wasn't even thinking about Thunder Rosa. I was going Britt Baker, but I would definitely want to watch Thunder Rosa versus Shida again, definitely.
Or maybe we can have Ivelisse in there.
Well, that's another one, Ivelisse. I mean, I just think the way they booked this pay-per-view, I think, has been fantastic. I mean, I'm not going to slay anything to do with what they've done in AEW. The graphics they've used for all the matches, absolutely superb. I just think when you're booking a match and it's the women's champion and the division needs to excel a lot more than what it is, I think there has to be someone walks through that curtain and everyone goes, "Oh, what the?"
Yeah.
I think if Britt Baker walks out, the fucking world's just gonna go, "Oh no," know. I don't think Baker. Think? Do you rate Baker?
I don't know. Why should be Riho?
I'd like it to be Riho. I'd like it to be Riho.
They could work with each other.
I think Rio is still going to have the issue with the whole pandemic stuff. So she won't be able to show.
It'll be B Priestley. B Priestley will come back.
No.
I mean,
definitely not.
A certain superstar from another one, Kairi Sane. Right, I'm just trying to think how would she go about getting out of the United States and going back over to Japan if there was a block on travel?
True.
You know what I mean? Imagine she walks out, but she walks out. Kairi Sane just re-signed with WWE. Oh, she?
Yeah, she re-signed with the commentary.
Yeah, she's commentary over Japan.
She's a commentary for Japan. Yeah.
I just had the visual then. I just had the visual then of the Black Lotus triad, and she walks out as that Kairi Sane.
No, it's not gonna happen.
Or hey, how about Allison Kay. Why not? She hasn't wrestled on there yet.
Kelly
She
Klein.
killed- You know, all these people. We can see who shows up on AEW Challenge Cheetah, but we got to go to the main event.
The main event will be the AEW World Title. It's going to be an I Quit match between Jon Moxley versus Chef's boy Eddie Kingston.
The King. Get it right. Eddie Kingston, the King, the man, the best thing in AEW right now. The hottest, the best promo. His matches are good, but the promos are just Eddie Kingston has been I will say this. I have been a fan of Eddie Kingston when I saw him in Impact. Because that's when I first saw him. When he showed up, a part of that really bad Chef hates me every time I mention it. The DCC or whatever. He was part of that, he was part of that. And I was just like, okay, cool, but this guy can talk. This guy makes you believe he's going to tear your head off when he gets in the ring with you. You know? And I think against Moxley, it's going to be just balls to the wall. They're going to beat the tar out of each other. It's going to be a brawl. And I am going to say it. Eddie Kingston is going to beat Moxley to become the AEW champion. Even if the family interferes, I will not be happy, but I am picking to dethrone Stone Cold Light and become the AEW world champion. I don't care if he's a transitional champion. I don't care if he holds it for 2 weeks. He's still going to beat Jon Moxley. And if AEW, Tony Khan, this is the hottest guy in wrestling. He is making your program watchable because people are believing this guy is going to murder Moxley. Put the belt on him. He is the best signing that they have had. I can't go anymore. I'm gonna let y'all sing.
I mean, if that ain't putting him over, that ain't putting Kingston over. I don't know what was. I mean, Kingston's gold. Mm-hmm. He's gold. From the moment he walked out for that opportunity, coming out of NWA and walking into that AEW ring, saying Tony Khan paid me to come here and kick your ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's fucking amazing. Arn Anderson goes to open his mouth. Arn, shut up. I mean,
and he says, I will end you right here and now on my mother's life. I
mean, you can't listen. Yeah. That is heel. That is heel stuff. You can't teach that. You just can't. And I mean, for people to say, and I mean, you go in these AEW groups and you got people, pushing Jericho. Jericho hasn't been a heel for, I don't know, the best part of 3 or 4 months. He's been cutting comedy gimmicks. Jericho's fantastic at what he does. The one thing AEW hasn't got is a heel, out and out heel. MJF's all and good at being a heel and just being hateful and spiteful. Well, you know what I mean? What do you do with spiteful people? You slap them around the head and they go away. But you've got the only person really other than Kingston, I'd say, is Penta. You turn that guy uber heel.
Lance Archer. Forget about Lance Archer. He's a pretty good heel. He's big man heel, but he does it well. But yeah, I do agree with Eddie Kingston. He's the man, and I can't put him over anymore. He's, like you said, he's the best heel. You believe him when he's telling you, I'm going to tear your head off. I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to take everything from you. You believe it.
I think there's only one guy at the minute currently in wrestling, if he hadn't have got injured, that could, possibly, if you were going for heel status, best heels, it would be like that currently with Kingston showcasing what he's doing. It would be like that between him and Cross. Because,
definitely.
We've got 2 guys there. One that's never been given an opportunity with a clear-cut promotion other than ROH and Impact Wrestling, which was unfortunate with Impact because Impact was on a slump. But and Cross, for some reason, just wasn't getting opportunities. I don't think Impact liked the fact that Cross was spending a hell of a lot of time in Mexico. I think that's what pissed Impact off. But if Kingston's got to go over, man. Moxley, go take some home time. Spend it with the wife. You know,
Get her
pregnant. Yeah. You know what I mean? Let some other guys have an opportunity at this title.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you guys. Yeah, I definitely agree with you guys with Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston has been by far the best signing they've had in over a year. Great heel work, everything else like that. With it being an I Quit match and how he said he didn't quit the first time they had a match, it fits so perfectly here. And I feel Moxley will take him to his limit. The family will get involved, and Eddie Kingston will come out victorious with the title. That or they're going to build him strong and actually have Eddie Kingston just go over, pretty much just being a brawler like he is.
How do you book a match to make Moxley quit? You know,
basically you don't, and you just basically you just have to, like, I think
we get an imitation Mike. I quit.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, why not? You know, why not? Because it would make sense. That's something Eddie would do. You know, he's a dastardly heel, but he's also very vicious. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And then also, if Eddie wins, it could definitely lead to where either they could put it as a 3-way in the next pay-per-view, where it'd be Eddie Kingston versus Moxley versus Lance Archer, because recently Eddie Kingston attacked Lance Archer, so it could definitely lead into a triple threat for the title in the next show. And that's
he did also say, though, didn't he? He did also say possibility of facing my brother.
Yeah.
You know, Penta. You know, what if Penta just says, fuck this? You know, gets him in the grip with the arm, goes to break his arm.
Yeah, that is true.
That'd be cool because, like, I mean, like I said, even if Eddie Kingston's a transitional champion, it gets the title off Moxley. Because, like, Moxley's getting just unfortunately, Moxley's title reign has been marred by the COVID-19. We haven't really been able to see anybody. It's funny how when COVID started, the guys that we all wanted to win the belts to become world champions, they've had all those. They can't do it, and they can't be where we want them to be because there's no crowds. We don't have that reaction with them. Moxley, I think they should have taken the title off him earlier, but now they want to keep it on him because there's a possibility of crowds coming back. And if the crowd, the crowd is somewhat.
You're not getting that organic feel about wrestling, are you? You know, that walk through the curtain, the sound of the crowd. It literally feels like, it's why WWE's probably been better for the last couple of months. It's because it's being booked off. You've got to do something correct, not what the fans scream for. You know, I
just think that's what's hurt Moxley. And I just think now Eddie Kingston would be the guy to do it. If Eddie Kingston wins the belt, he can be the dastardly heel. So when we get back to having crowds, it'll be more effective if Moxley were to come out and start beating up Kingston. You know, and that's when we could go from.
You know what I mean? Could you imagine filling an AEW arena and Kingston walks out with that? Oh my Lord!
He'll be cheered. They'll love him. You know, because he's Eddie Kingston. So he's the man. And I don't care if he's transitional to where he'll just drop it to the next guy or the next, you know. But I said earlier, Eddie Kingston better go over. This would be the smartest decision. So. Yeah.
It just seems like they're packing just seems like they're packing the roster at the minute with a lot of heels. You know, you got Brody, you've got Kenny Omega teasing that big heel soon. You know, you got Kingston. You know, it's going to be interesting.
Archer.
Yeah.
MJF.
I can say Jericho. You know, the best quarters of the roster, all top stars are all heels. You know, and I think that's what makes it more better now when you look at it and you go, Paige, Wardlow turning big baby face, you know, need a big guy as a baby face. It's time. Pull the triggers.
I agree,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, and Warlow could be that guy to definitely make be a front runner for the championship at that point. So I can see it happening.
I would put I guess we went over pretty much everything for Full Gear. I guess we'll get out of here. We're killing it. We killed it today. I don't know how y'all feel about it. I felt everything was good. I think the best part of it was Kingston. We're all in unison that we're all in unison that Kingston should go over, correct?
Kingston sells tickets.
Yeah. All right.
Controversy equals success. Kingston for president.
Pretty much. All right. Crooked, take us out. You're hosting this, so take us out of here.
All right, I'm gonna let you guys go ahead and plug yourselves first, real quick. We're gonna actually have our new person here, as Hannibal likes to call him, the new guy. Go ahead and plug yourself, boss man.
Hey, I'm the new guy. I'm the new guy. You know what I mean? I got a lot to do before I can be recognized. You can get me on Twitter at Maximum WW Order. You can get us on Facebook at Maximum Wrestling World Order Podcast.
All right.
And Hannibal, go ahead and break it down, boss. You already know how to do it.
All right. I hope y'all enjoyed our predictions for the AEW Full Gear. This is something we don't normally do, but we decided to do it with our new partners in crime and their podcast. But I have been the Beast of Heel Team 6, Hannibal Wolf, the alpha of professional wrestling. You can follow me on Instagram at the Tyrant Hannibal Wolf. I post a lot of stuff dealing with wrestling and things I do when I am wrestling. I post videos, I post pictures dealing with me as a wrestler. There, I hope you guys enjoyed our stuff. Crooked, take us home.
And I'm actually not going to plug myself today. I'm actually going to plug the network. You can get on and follow us at www.urbanwrestlingnetwork.com. And I believe if I'm wrong, I apologize. But that's going to do it for today's show, guys. Thank you guys for joining us. And I hope we have our new partner.
Halloween.
And happy Halloween. And I hope we have our boy here with our new partnership joining us on a lot more shows. Definitely killed it today, and I would love to have some. Definitely love to chop it up with you and have some more conversation with you.
Peace.
Yes.
Stay safe.
All right.
And have a good Halloween.
That's going to do it with us at Urban Wrestling Network.